Hello and welcome to my channel. Sabina from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, and this video is about pros and cons living on 38. Before I jump into the pros and cons, what it is like living in Santa Rosa Beach, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about myself. So about 8 years ago, my family and I moved here from Woodstock, Georgia, and both my children at the time were in high school. So my son was a junior and my daughter was a freshman. It wasn't as easy as I thought to transition them into the schools, but if I look back now, we wouldn't be the strong family we are today. So there are definitely pros and cons on making this move, but I always wanted to live in a small town community and wouldn't think of anything else. Let's start with pro number one. The best beaches in Florida, and some argue even in the world. Yes, the beaches are amazing. The color of the Emerald Coast is so beautiful, and you are surrounded by fine white sand that you can hardly find in other places. You can not just enjoy the beaches during the day, but at night as well. Gather with your friends in front of a bonfire and finish your day with a glass of wine or your favorite cocktail. Number one, the obvious, hurricane season, which starts usually from June 1st all the way up to November, sometimes mid-December. So if you live in Santa Rosa Beach, you need to have an evacuation plan in place because you are required to evacuate. Our bridge is shut down when the wind reaches a certain miles per hour, and you are required to evacuate. Now, with that being said, you also need to be careful because the beaches are shut down, and you have double red flags and you have zip ties. So in addition to the hurricane, sometimes we have tropical storms that produce a lot and a significant amount of rain. So when we moved here, we had so much rain that year that our street flooded. Yes, it did flood, and we actually had to use a kayak to get through and out of our community, and we lost power for several days. Pro number two are our amazing sunsets. My gosh, especially after rain, the colors in the sky are so amazing. Where can you go in the evenings for a stroll, enjoy a glass of cocktail, meet friends, and just celebrate the end of the day by looking at a beautiful sunset? You can have beach bonfires, or you can also just take a nice evening stroll. You can even get a permit to let your dog walk along with you doing an evening stroll. So that is probably one of my favorite activities to do. Con number two is traffic and parking. So yes, during spring break and also the summertime, it is sometimes a nightmare to get to Lowe's or to go to the grocery store. So locals know to do their shopping early in the morning while everybody is still sleeping, or you can be stuck in traffic for hours and make your commute home a nightmare. Well, if that traffic made your head spin, let's take a look at pro number three, our amazing springs and coastal dune lakes. Yes, those springs are about 30 minutes away from Santa Rosa Beach. My daughter used to go there all the time and hang out with her friends and dive into those springs and relax a day and get away from all the crowds. So, yep, we are known for our beautiful nature. Well, in addition to all these beautiful state parks that you can walk, we have 15 coastal dune lakes. This is the Western Lake, and the tree line is recognized by many local artists. You can go off-roading, you can go walk and hike. There is so much more on 30A than just our beautiful sandy beaches. I probably miss most about coming from a large city like Atlanta is going to sporting events and participating in concerts and the large living, chain restaurants, shopping malls. So if you like to enjoy going out and enjoy huge events, you probably need to always calculate that you're going to have to travel to some of those major places. Of course, right now during COVID, those are taboo anyhow, but I do miss that living here. When you first move to Santa Rosa Beach, it is a little bit more difficult making friends because we have such a different demographics of people who come here on vacation and people who actually live here. I never forget when I was still teaching back in Georgia, one of my teacher friends said, "You are going to live where people go on vacation?" Well, yes, I do. And I love living on 30A in a small community, resort type feeling. We do have lots of local artists, lots of local concerts that you can participating in, and that is really kind of neat and cool. Of course, these footages were taken before COVID, and I'm sure and hope that one day we will all come back to this area where we can socialize and interact with each other without being afraid that we get sick. So I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart. Keep it shining right to the end. August. So come on, if you watch this video, type in the name of the artist that was playing the songs. And now let's dive into some of the local art galleries. Another thing I love living on 30A, it's really the small town living. Locals know each other. You run into familiar faces, but it does take a little time to get to know each other because you gotta know where to meet the locals. Cost of living. You are living in a resort where people come on vacation and all the business depend on the tourism, so they jack up their prices, especially in the summertime. Everything is a little bit more expensive on 30A. So keep that in mind. You may have to go to the cities to do some shopping. Contractors, construction workers, trying to get somebody to come out to your home can be a challenge. And also, sometimes difficult. If you expect somebody to come the next day, you may be waiting a few days before they can come or before you can get a quote to get something done. But once you live here for a while and you know who to call and who to depend and rely on, it actually is not quite as bad. Pro number 5, outdoor recreation. So the Gulf of Mexico has two main entrances to the bay. One is, of course, in Destin, and then, of course, Panama City, where you look at Lake Powell. So you can go out on a boat. You can, Destin is known for its fishing village. I mean, there is so much to do, from wave runners, paddleboarding, jet skiing, and so much more. But if you are a little bit more private and you don't quite like the crowds, then there is a lot of stuff you can do on the bay side as well. So some of the hidden treasures are the intercoastal waterways, which are really secluded and private, and a lot of residential communities have their own boat slip on the bay side, and they're just awesome if you love boating. So paddleboarding, yep, everybody loves to paddleboard. That is so much fun. You can do it on the Gulf, you can do it on one of the coastal dune lakes. You choose where you want to do it. Fishing, of course, you got Destin, we already talked about it, but you can also fish on the Gulf. And some of the restaurants like Stinky's, they actually have fishing contests depending on the type of the year and the season. Golfing, we have numerous amazing golf courses for those of you who love golf. Tennis, of course. Surfing, one of my treasures my daughter discovered while living here. She just loves to surf. And yep, there are times of the year when those waves are really good for that. And lastly, my favorite activity is just to enjoy the beach and a nice, lovely dinner by the pool or on the Gulf. Con number 5. If you live here, you have heard of yellow flies, sand flies, no-see-ums, and of course mosquitoes. But the bug season in the Panhandle is between May and through September. In some years, they are significantly worse than others. In conclusion, my final words. Well, I could not imagine living anywhere else. We are so happy to live in Santa Rosa Beach and call ourselves a local. I think one of the things I forgot to mention is that once you do establish yourself in a neighborhood, locals stick together and help out each other. If somebody is in need, we come together. So we are a great community. And it may not be for everyone. I work with buyers all the time, and sometimes it may not be the best place for you or your family. So if you have any questions and you just like to reach out to me and ask me more, feel free to do that. I'm here to answer any questions, or you may post them underneath in the chat box, and I will try to reply whatever your question is. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this little piece of paradise called 30A, Santa Rosa Beach. Have a wonderful day. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.